Oduduwa and co, we're already on our way out. All we can do is just show you the way. Why are we in politics today? Why am I in politics today? It's just to show you the way, just to let you know that this can be done. That's all. But as a single individual in the politics that I'm fighting today, would I be able to change it completely to be what you want it to be? Unlikely. But would I be able to open that door, show you that this is what can be done, and then you come in with your force to make it happen? Absolutely. But the question is, are you ready? And my prayer is that you better be ready. Because if you are not ready, then my children, who are your age mates, and their children, I'm going to be a grandfather, God knows, God willing, soon. Their children, you're going to be a mother very soon. Your children, what would they be looking towards? Who would they be looking to? Certainly not me.
Yes, sir.
Your children will not be looking to me. They'll be looking to you. And the question my children ask me today is, when all of this was happening, what did you do? I can answer.
Yeah.
Now your children will ask you, what did you do? Can you answer?
If we end this panel session now, I think we have done well. So I feel like, speaking for my generation, I feel we made an attempt in 2020.
Okay, so yes, you made an attempt, but an attempt does not, nearly doesn't kill a bird. You made an attempt. Now we have to go beyond the attempt. Please don't give up. Half the people who made the attempt have left the country.
Yeah, yes, sir. And that's
some died. Look, listen, and we're getting into it. Look, if you look at it, every generation has had their own answers moment. And they talked about SAP. That was my generation. And guess what? People died. In my generation, they died. We made the same mistake that you're making now. About half the people who died in NSAP left. We were 100 in my class in University of Lagos that entered into architecture. About 60 or 70 of those 100 left the country. Back then, we're talking about 1990. So there was NSAP, there was Occupy Nigeria. Before NSAP, there was something called Ali Moscow. Ali Moscow is my father's generation. Would it be? Okay, my senior brother's generation, 1970s. So yeah, maybe my father's generation, no, my senior brothers. So there was Ali Moscow, there was the Civil War, there was Ali Moscow, there was NSAP, there's Occupy Nigeria, and then there's you. So at what point are we going to stop it and ensure that we now stay focused to making it happen? And this is the time. If not, you will pass another 20 years. It usually happens in 20 year cycles. So another 20 years will go by, and then it will be your children getting up and fighting another fight and asking you the question, what happened to answers? And you don't need that.
Yeah.
You don't.
That's what happened with NSAS. I think we had gotten to a breaking point and we were at the peak of outrage, but then we lost it, just like His Excellency said. And if we get back to that again and we lose the opportunity again, then we would have failed ourselves. Unity is extremely important, and the most common factor here is that we're all angry and we're all frustrated and we're all affected. Whether you like it or not, you can be the most comfortable Nigerian, you can have tons of money in your account, but what happened during COVID? A lot of the people that were affected were the people that could have afforded to fly themselves out, right?
Yeah.
So the most common factor is that we have to fix the country, because at the worst possible time, we're all affected by our failed healthcare system, by security, by power, by the failed government. So I would say that one of the best ways to be proactive is to consistently adopt a problem-solving mindset. I say this about business as well. You want to develop a new idea, think about the problems. We are a pool of problems in Nigeria. And in those problems are business opportunities, are opportunities to give back to the grassroots communities, are opportunities for you to change your life. So you're thinking about one of the ways to change your situation today, just pick a problem, solve it.
Thank you so much, Aisha. Thank you. Mr. Olu, so I always like to ask these questions because I feel like it's not specific enough. Because people just tell us, get involved, get involved, get involved. I'm like, get involved how? How do we get involved? So just youth should get involved. What do we do to get involved? Are we going to join a political party? What do we do?
the question I've been dealing with youth for like 30 plus years. And you see, we can't run away from our problems. You can get involved in every level of society. What we miss, what a lot of us fail to realize is that as an individual, you make a difference.
Yeah.
You can make a difference in your small circle. And there's a domino effect. It goes on and on and on and on. You have to take a stance and take a pitch. You must plan. Okay, this is where you can't avoid being in politics, because politics dominates everything that happens in Nigeria and Africa. Africa is a government-dominated economy. It's unfortunate, but that's how it is. And before I got involved in government at all, I'd always said I was government averse. Throughout my oil and gas days, I never did one deal or a contract with NNPC. It was always Shell, Chevron, and for one reason, at least at some point they'll pay me. And NNPC might not pay me, and I don't have that kind of money, to lose. But the thing is that when we say we're going to be government averse, we're fooling ourselves. I've worked in government for 4 years and realized that even in my sector, which is the mining sector, prior to my appointment in that sector, I had never been to the ministry before. I didn't know what was going on. I'd have people who'd go to the ministry, do my bidding, do my things, and come back. But when I worked in the ministry, I realized that, wow, there is so much that we don't know that is residing in these different ministries. Some can help, some can destroy. Now, if you don't get involved with these people who run your sector, they will mess it up. I did a course in Lagos Business School, and one of the strategies of any entrepreneur is they say capture the regulator. It sounds very crude, but in a country like ours, it's so important, because some pothead will sit in a ministry. He has never left his desk, and you create a policy that will affect your livelihood. And you're sitting in your office, you don't come out, and you just hear on the news, oh, this policy has been done. You can't let it happen. So if you don't get involved, if you're not in a pressure group, if you're not forcing the way will go above your head. And you wake up one morning and there's a policy that completely annihilates your business. And it happens time in, time out, every day. Every day they're going to say one policy that kills industries, kills. So we have to get involved in politics. And you know what, young guys, you start from scratch. Your generation is unbelievable. You guys want to be the MD as soon as you leave school. It's not possible. During our time, there was structure. We worked, we started off from the bottom, and we rose to the top. And in that, you learn. If I mention some of my mentors mentors that I've worked with, who have taught me, some good, some bad, but you take the good, you put it together, and you muster forward. Every day is not successful. Sometimes, in fact, you know what? To make money, you must lose money, so you can appreciate it. When you continue to make money and you don't lose it, you can't appreciate it. And that's what happens to a lot of people that steal money. Because they got it, well, I won't say free, because it even takes a lot of brain to steal money as well. But you have to work. You have to structure. You have to be deliberate about and intentional about anything you want to achieve. And I tell you guys, you are in charge, but you don't know you're in charge. Your vote counts. Excuse me. If somebody pays you for your vote, he doesn't owe you anything. The biggest problem in Nigeria and Africa and whole is unaccountability. Nobody's accountable.
If you have an hashtag trend for 1 week saying to the Minister of Youth, your budget was 89 million with intelligence, how we need a town hall on Twitter space. We're not asking us to just come and tell us how you have. That opportunity is on the table. And you are not abusing, you are not, okay, don't let me give that example. But let me tell you what, during NSAS, unfortunately some of us are on the other side of the room with government. We're in the situation room, and we saw our government panicked. Big time. I'm in the situation room when somebody's saying, who can you talk to? This needs to stop. And we were given mandates to find who to call. Because there was nobody. It was a revolution. I mean, one of my own staff, she's a very smart lady, she's first class law, and she was like, sir, you guys have failed us in my own office. And I'm like, how have I failed you? Look at my own life. And she was like, I've told my mom, if I don't come home today, I'm dead. Forget it. I'm like, why would you do that? Because she was quite passionate. But I said to her, one thing that we needed to actually, I've added to that answers was even a more structured, why there is, there's something called good call, bad call. Yeah. I've also been a salesman. When somebody says, don't worry, pay the money, somebody say, I'm not agreeing. Some people will be fighting, some people will be dialoguing, and through it, you will have actually get a seat at the table and will have made progress with it. Final thing I want to say with regards to how, that question you asked about, are we going to be in? You don't have a choice. Yeah. I know my mentor is here. Before I even met him, he gave a speech at a youth event. Way back, His Excellency Toeko. He said, if I knew politics was important to my business, I would have joined a long time ago.
So now that we're here,
I've not known him that time. When I wrote it down, and that thing led to a project we call Generation Leaders. To realize that there is a need for us to aggregate and actually become intentional in terms of how you position people. Barack Obama called it race to the top when he was in America. Begin to position people in strategic places without necessarily letting anybody know. Some of all those guys are Obama guys right now. The day they will wake up one day and take over the structure. What am I trying to say is, guys, don't think things are not happening. What you need to ask is, me personally, what part am I going to play?
Just like Kenneth said, your value must remain, whether it's crisp, whether it's dirty, whether it's been crumpled, whether it's been battered. God has given you a mandate to take this nation forward. Please, 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 don't lose it.